Hey there, YouTube. Thanks for joining me. This is a follow-up video. This one's going to be about this feeder here. I had mentioned in the previous video, we just moved them out to pasture. I showed you guys the water was much cleaner at the time that I'd made. I got this idea from Lumna Acres. If you watch his videos, he'll show you step by step how to heat those nipples up and make this water. There were some things that weren't on there. I kind of had to improvise, but you go back and watch my video if you kind of get an idea of how I did that. But this one's going to be about the feeder. Basically, we'd been using pans. If you remember, we had small trough for the water. We had some pans for the food. It wasn't very effective. It was a lot of work, so we were going to make this feeder, but I never updated it. My brother Jim, actually, who's subscribed and is following me, kind of helping me out, said, hey, you got to make that video. You said you were going to do that. You can't let your community, the YouTube community, down. So, all of my 4 subscribers out there who are watching this, and for the 28 people who watched that video, actually it's 28 views, so it's probably the 4 people who watched it a bunch of times. Thanks a lot. Hopefully we get this out there to a few more people, but here's the feeder. This was a design that I think I first kind of saw on Lumna Acres, and then I had to do some research to find blueprints and stuff. He had a whole video where he went through it, but it wasn't enough to be able to build it, for me anyway. So I got all this wood off of a scrap rack at Home Depot. It was warped, not something that they could use for retail sale, so I got it like 70% off. I think some of these boards, though, to be honest with you, I might have purchased retail without the discount just because they didn't have those in there. But I wish I would have made the video at the time. I do have some pictures that I took of the process that I can throw in with this video. I'm probably going to post this immediately, but I may redo it and then kind of make a better video of it. But I just wanted to show the feeder. So this is it. We've got 1x12. It's not light. You can move this around with one person, but you've really got to heft it around to do that. This is the bottom here, just kind of giving you an idea. I painted all that too, and it seems to be holding up pretty well. Got our pig buddies kind of looking for some food here, and so yeah, there's some kind of giant black fly on my pig there, but anyway, they don't seem to mind it. So here's the pig feeder. You can see how it works. They put their head under there, and they can just lift that up. It protects it from the elements. If this piece is in here, and if you see this, that's kind of a cross member here. It's a little loose. It's not quite lined up. The idea was that there'd be a bead here. The blueprint called for some sort of metal. I couldn't figure out what it was saying, but this one got tore out. This is the hardware I used. I put new hinges on. These were the original hinges I used. Bad idea. They broke off of here right away, so I redid it. This one's a little loose, so I have to tighten these back up. It's kind of bent, but it's working. Simple design. I mean, it's 1x12s in the back. You screw that across there. You got your back panel. Side panels, 1x12, 1x12, just cut to that length. 1x12s all across here. We had some end pieces. This was actually some cedar that was laying around. I cut all these pieces just to use these are 2x4s that were cut in half. And we use those, obviously, you can see, to nail all the corners together. There's a piece in the bottom here that's cut at an angle, so the board had to be ripped, to fit in there just perfect. Basically, I think it might just be 45s. But anyway, feed comes in, it pushes towards the front, and that's pretty much how that works. So this has been pretty effective. it's worked. I don't have to come back here that often. As they're getting older, I got to change this probably every week, you know, with about 250 pounds of food, maybe sooner, but it's definitely a lot better than it was. So, you know, that's the video. I just wanted to show you the feeder. This is what I used for the top. I got lazy and didn't want to, you see I'm pushing around there. I didn't want to make the lid. I just got lazy. And I thought, oh, I'll just use this tarp. And it kind of helps because the tarp hangs out on the sides and it kind of keeps the water shed, I think, away from the from that. You're going to want to keep an eye out. I have had the issue where it's gotten a little wet in there. Now this isn't bad. It's not wet in there now. But it was kind of caked up in here, like this kind of stuff. It's going to happen. I mean, the pigs are going to go drink water and they're going to go in here and they're going to get, so you just got to keep an eye on it, because if it gets wet, you can get worms and stuff like that growing in there, and you don't want that. Another thing that I do is I add diatomaceous earth to the feed. I wish I could tell you the mixture right now, but there are recommendations on like how much to add to your pig feed. You do that because it's a natural way of getting parasites or worms or anything out of their system. If you're going to do this, you're going to want to do research on that. These guys were dewormed before we bought them. They had all their shots. There's all kinds of laws in Wisconsin. Before we bought them from the producer, they had to have all this stuff done. But now all that stuff is out of their system. The dewormer, you know, you can use that stuff, but, you know, I've heard of people in big productions using it, but it's toxic. And, you know, I think it's probably more needed when these guys are in an environment where there's just slop everywhere. They're, you know, in a feed kind of lot situation in a concrete floor. You know, they're just being fed grain and they're not moving. And out here they're getting a little exercise, so that muscle's getting a little more oxygenation. I think I've heard that you get a little bit more of a red color from a pastured pork, kind of outdoor. They have room to move around. This area is obviously very well grazed down, but also you can see kind of the bad shape that the ground was in around here. There wasn't much cover. And so my hope is that by kind of some disturbance in here, it's not going to grow in under these trees, but by getting some disturbance in here, you know, some other stuff will grow up. And we might even, I'll probably end up coming out here and throwing some seed out here. I don't know what, but something, you know, you can see this area. That's where they were. I was a little disrupted, but anyway, that's the pig feeder. Thanks for the update, Jim. I'd like to give a shout out to him. He's getting married in September. My brother, you know, who was watching this said, hey man, you know, you've got to make another video and let me know what's going on with this feeder you said you were going to make. And I know you never followed up with it. So I did. We had a bachelor party last night actually, and we had a lot of fun. I'm really happy for him and his fiance Amber. I love them a lot, and it's going to be great just to see them. I'm the best man, so I get to do the whole wedding thing. But anyway, thanks, Jim. Thank all of you, anybody that's watching it, you 4 people out there. I love you guys. Check back in. Thanks. Bye-bye.